tonight we're sending a member of the CTV family into retirement after a 43 career year in television.
Paul Creelman, known to us as WOG, covered major events here at home and around the world. CTV's Jonathan McGinnis put WOG in an unfamiliar position on his final day.
For 43 years, Paul Creelman has been mostly behind the cameras at CTV, setting up countless shoots just like this one. He's traveled around the world and has interviewed some of its most famous people. But today, Paul is taking a seat in front of the camera.
It's very uncomfortable being this side. I tip my hat to those people over the years who have sat in this seat on the other side of things, because it's a little tense.
Paul, affectionately known as WOG by his friends, started his TV career in St. John in 1979. He was there for 2 years before a move to CTV National News in Halifax and then ATV in 1983.
This was 1982, the CTV National News up top.
Throughout his 4+ decades in the industry, WOG has seen and covered thousands of stories. When asked for a couple special memories, his answer provides a glimpse into his character. His most memorable moment isn't a brush with anyone famous.
The Celebrate the Maritimes things that we did in the 80s, which was our crew that traveled around the Maritimes. We did talk to people in the communities, we interviewed them, and then afterwards we used to hang out with them, and we traveled around onto the next community. We did this for at least 2 or 3 years, and it was just a blast.
The last chapter of the Royal Tour of Newfoundland was written today.
Next in line, his involvement with the royal visit of Prince Charles and Princess Diana in Newfoundland in 1983, followed by the princess's funeral 14 years later. But again, it was an interaction with a member of the public that he remembers most.
We were shooting at Hyde Park, and they were bringing Princess Diana's body, down the streets of London, and I stepped in front of a woman there just for a second and asked her if I could take a quick shot, just going to be a second, and she said, "It's okay, dear. We want the whole world to know how much we loved her." And then I stepped back, and for a second I thought maybe I was doing something that was actually, worth something.
WOG would go on to cover 3 Olympic Games, Vancouver, London, and Sochi.
Yeah, this is the first thing I got.
He's also amassed what is quite likely the largest collection of ATV, CTV memorabilia anywhere.
I think it's important to have, and it's what we've done, and people will kind of years down the road kind of wonder what it was and how it worked.
Each piece of equipment has a story, much like how WOG's stories continue into retirement.
I think there's going to be some golfing. I think there's going to be some traveling. I've got a daughter who's getting married this year.
An event WOG will no doubt record. It's in his blood. And now, for the first time, on his last day, a phrase he's heard thousands of times but never said.
Okay, Jonathan, I'll do a sign-off. In Halifax, Paul Creelman, CTV News.
Well, why'd you wait all these years to do one? That sounded good. We should have had you doing that years ago, Paul.
People at home really have no idea. If you've watched our programming for decades and decades, you have no doubt seen WOG's work over and over and over.
Yeah, all those years of Steve thanking his colleagues behind the camera.
Yeah.
Paul's been a huge part of that and a big part of our team, and changed his role. We talked about it today. 40 years into his career, changed his role and then knocked that out of the park going into retirement.
And was an awesome guy to work with all those years too. Not just an impeccable professional and so good at what he does, but just a great person to be around too.
Came in with a smile on his face like you saw in that story every single day. We're going to miss him here, but we'll be seeing him for sure.
We sure will.